So movies this week. Do you remember a time when movies were an escape? Now, to watch movies, you need a PhD in interconnected universes. You have to understand all of the lore, have watched 4 other series, and read the books in order to understand why the hell Captain Fabulous is punching generic CG monster number 7 in the face this week. This week, though, in movies, we have Knightfall snaps and resurrection echoes. I can say that word, I promise you. Resurrection echoes that actually land. Let's get into it. Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. You are about to watch the movie news for the week, at least since the last time you were here, probably. So, movie news, this is a smaller portion of a larger video. If you want to get all of the nerdy news, all of the pop culture stuff that's going on, go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy. The name of the show you're looking for is called The Week in Nerddom, and that's where you can get everything. Or you can just stay here and specifically watch movie news. We're going to talk about upcoming movies. We're going to talk about things that are happening in the box office right now, see how they're doing, that kind of stuff, and yeah, the kind of everything pertaining to movies. So let's jump into that. All right, so on the New York Comic-Con train, if you have been living under a rock, you don't know that just happened. If you have not been living under a rock, then you do know that just happened, and things that were announced. One of those big things is Mortal Kombat 3 is officially greenlit. Before the official release of Mortal Kombat 2, we're getting a 3rd movie in this series, so I'm stoked for that. So get ready for many more fatalities and also probably some more questionable acting. Next, though, we have Tron Ares. This one's fun because who didn't see this one coming? But absolutely bombed at the box office. Disney, of course, is blaming COVID because that makes sense for a movie in 2025 having done poorly. And then just to add insult to injury, we have a brilliant analysis from The Hollywood Reporter, and they think that the actual issue with the Tron movie, Tron Ares, is that evil AIs are boring. Yeah, 100%, that's it. Has nothing to do with the sequel that nobody asked for. Next on the list, we have one of the many, because there's at least 4 Beatles biopics in the work right now. We just got an announcement for casting in the one of them. I honestly don't know which one it is. I don't think that it was made known which one it is. No, that's not true. I'll see if I can link to the full article just in case you care. But Brian Epstein. This is the biopic about the manager of the Beatles, Brian Epstein. James Norton has been announced as starring as Brian Epstein in the Brian Epstein drama biopic. There we go. And then, rounding out the follow-up section, Passion of the Christ is getting a sequel. Long awaited, I've heard it described as. I don't know that applies, but sequel nonetheless. They have just announced that they have their new Jesus of Nazareth, as well as Mary Magdalene. It is going to be titled Resurrection of the Christ instead of Passion of the Christ, so it's a prequel, if you will. And it is going to be released in 2 parts. Part 1 will be out on Good Friday, March 26th. Of 2027, and then part 2 will be May 6th of 2027. So, yeah, sure. Okay, trailers. We have trailers. We got a couple. The first one is Running Man. The Glenn Powell Running Man finally got its first trailer. It's doing the thing. It will be in theaters November 14th. It looks slick. It looks violent. My money says that the 3rd act is going to go over better than the one in the original film, so there's that. And then while we're on the Mortal Kombat hype train, we did get the actual featurette that was not streamed from the event itself, has now been uploaded to YouTube, so you can go watch that. It features Johnny Cage and stuff, some behind the scenes action with the fatalities and the whatnot and the blood and the hey. So yeah, that's a cool thing you should go watch. Let's move on.
You know, it's easy to call yourself a music nerd, but can you back it up? Do you want to wear something that separates the true connoisseurs from the edgelord soy boys? Well, that's where this comes into play. It's our new music nerd shirt. It features the one and only Lon Chaney version of the Phantom of the Opera from the 1925 film. And the text is written in a font that is so brutal as to be almost illegible. It is honestly the perfect combination of highbrow horror history and lowbrow guttural noise. You will definitely confuse your parents and your normie friends and then attract a whole different breed of weirdos, which, if you know, you know. So go to generally-nerdy.creator-spring.com and wear your nerd cred on your chest. Regular ass news, we're starting on another downer. We have another passing this episode. Honestly, I think all three of our passings for this episode of the Week in Nerddom happened in the last few days, so that sucks. But Diane Keaton, legendary actress, crazy legendary actress, Diane Keaton, was apparently very, very sick. I believe it was cancer, but a lot of the details are being kind of held close to the chest by family and friends because that was Diane's wishes, obviously, because very few people actually knew she was sick enough that this could be the outcome. So, yeah, she passed. Where's the date? She was 79 years old, and I did not write down the date, and I apologize, but say it with me, class, I take amazing notes. That's right. Like, Annie Hall, The Godfather, just like, she's done a million things and done a million great things. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to remember Diane Keaton.
This is Diane Keaton. It's going to sing.
Okay. Okay. The stars are still on high, but they don't twinkle anymore. Why does it seem they've lost their gleam? Somehow the lovely flowers have no fragrance anymore. Where is their bloom, their sweet perfume? Darling, that just shows what your goodbye can do. Until you return, there's nothing I can do. Oh, there's a lull in my life. It's just a void, an empty space. When you are not in my embrace. Oh, there's a lull in my life. The moment that you go away, there is no night, there is no day. The clock stops ticking, the world stops turning. Everything stops but that flame in my heart that keeps burning. how I may pretend. I know it's you alone can end this ache in my heart, the call of my arms, the lull in my life. There's a lull in my life. Okay.
And then we have the big story for movies this week. Corporate maneuvering is afoot because it would seem that the rumors were true, and David Ellison's Skydance, which is backed by Paramount, has officially put in a bid to purchase at least a portion of Warner Brothers, if not the entire company. But I think it's just certain portions, not everything. Keep in mind, this is not going, if this happens, and so far it's off to a rocky start because Zaslav has denied the first bid, but we'll get there. This is not just a merger, this is a freaking earthquake. The fact that Zaslav has apparently denied the first bid kind of sets the stage for a hostile takeover, potentially, or a bidding war, which I'm sure he's hoping for the bidding war portion. So let's put this into perspective. This is very potentially massive. These are two of the oldest existing studios in Hollywood potentially going to become one, which means project cancellations are very likely going to be happening. Very much means massive layoffs are probably in the works. Complete strategic overhaul for properties in the DC universe. And not the least of which, Mortal Kombat very likely could be looking at some issues if things don't go super well with this. Speaking of DC, Donald Trump recently weighed in on this whole situation because, of course he did, and is saying that if he were in charge, he'd be making DC great again. And Superman. The quote includes Superman, DC and Superman. So you've got two corporate titans, some political figures apparently, and the fate of our favorite capes and cowls hanging in the balance. This is definitely going to get messy. So let's kind of detract from all of that heaviness and talk about some animated stuff. Still over Warner Brothers though. Batman Knightfall has officially been announced to be getting the animated movie treatment over at DC, or rather Warner Studios Animation. It's set for a 2026 release, and it is finally going to happen that we get to see Bane break the back of the Bat in a movie format, albeit an animated one, but you can't win them all, I guess. And then going back to New York Comic Con, Marvel has laid out the Disney Plus lineup for 2026, includes some of what you'd expect: sequels, spin-offs, etc., etc. And then somewhere in there, I'm sure there's a show about Squirrel Girl's Squirrel, because Marvel has no idea what they're doing anymore. I really don't know where that southern accent came from just now, but whatever, we're going with it. And then our final piece of regular-ass news for movies this week, we have Angel Studios, who are the production studio behind the movie Sound of Freedom, released a trailer for their next movie, Young Washington. So this should technically be in trailers, but it's in regular news because I didn't know they were working on this, and it's an announcement, and blah, blah, whatever. It could have gone, it probably should have. We're going to keep going, though. It is biopic about the first president's early years, so that's super interesting. Not exactly something that gets covered a lot in pop culture. And Angel Studios is eyeing a July 3rd opening for the movie, which would put it on the 4th of July weekend. There's a whole marketing campaign around it for 2026 4th of July. Let's make this the biggest movie in the country, etc., etc. With the momentum they have from Sound of Freedom, I think they can pull it off. However, it is going up against Minions 3, so, you know, could be a rough decision for some parents. And then suggestions for the week. Once again, we are in Halloween time, which means horror movies are going to be our suggestions. And one of my all-time favorite horror movies of all time, that's redundant, is Event Horizon. This is streaming. I believe I just saw it on Tubi. It might have been Pluto, but I'm pretty sure it was Tubi because Tubi has great horror selection. But you can watch it for free because it's on one of those two. I know for a fact it's on at least one of those two, so it's free. You can watch it for free with commercials, or you can go find wherever it's streaming that you have a subscription to. But absolutely watch it. Lawrence Fishburne and his crew, they're on a salvage mission. A ship that they thought was lost, or that the government thought was lost, suddenly reappears, and then they find out that the ship has been to horrible, horrible places, and it no longer... Well, you're just gonna have to watch because it's emotionally scarring for me.
Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.